Chapter 1. Loud, constant cheers and the crack of wooden hockey sticks frantically trying to get the puck rang out in the frigid air and bounced back from the arena's concrete walls and the wooden stands where parents were stamping their feet to keep warm. On the ice, there was a mad scramble behind the home net. As the clock hit 0, the horn sounded and the game ended. The spectators quickly exited to the heated canteen while the players headed for the dressing rooms. When it came to energy, drive, and enthusiasm, the Grade 5 boys hockey team at Riverbend Elementary School was truly remarkable. Every single player was destined for NHL stardom. At least that's what they believed. If unflinching belief in one's own ability and a can-do attitude were the magic key to success, the Riverbend Warriors would have been at the top of their league. Unfortunately, in reality, they had lost most of their games. When they won, it usually meant the opposing team was playing even worse hockey, and this Saturday, Riverbend had lost again. As Alan Foster watched his son, David, and his teammates go down to yet another humiliating loss, he marveled at how little the boys seemed aware of their own shortcomings. Skating off the ice, they were defiant in defeat. A bad referee, bad ice, bad breaks, and even bad skate sharpening were among the culprits being named. No one was accepting responsibility individually or collectively for the loss. "Another great night of Grade 5 hockey," said Alan to Coach Milt Gorman, while David, down in the locker room, changed to street clothes. "I've always dreamed of a great team. Instead, once again we got our heads handed to us," replied Milt with a warm laugh. "You and Coach Nanton really are wonderful the way you give so much time to this," said Alan. "Gives me a chance to spend time with my son, and besides, I love the game," said Coach Gorman as he stepped out of the player's box on his way to the locker room. "Some days, though, I do wish I didn't have a team with half of the boys frightened to go after the puck and the other half hogging the puck the second they get their stick on it." The reference to puck hogs rattled Alan, but not as much as Coach Gorman's next words. "David told my Billy that you got cut loose at work." "That's right," replied Alan with more brusqueness than he intended. "Sorry to hear that," said Milt as he swung several spare hockey sticks up on his shoulder. "Bad luck." "No," Alan heard himself saying emphatically, "not bad luck. The last 4 or 5 years the company has been changing. I didn't. The result was I didn't fit anymore. It wasn't bad luck or even a bad ref or bad ice. It was my fault." "Geez," said Milt. "If our kids had half the guts and gumption you've got to take personal responsibility for what happens, they might really be on their way to the NHL." "To tell the truth, this is the first time FV admitted it to myself or anyone else," said Alan. "I guess listening to those kids leaving the ice with all their misplaced grumbling was a wake-up call." Alan's admission was also right in line with his one-man band philosophy. He believed he had only himself to count on, so no one else could take the blame. It also provided a way to avoid facing the real problem. He had accepted responsibility. What more could he do? Case closed. No need to look deeper or further. Of course, Milt wasn't aware of this. He was thinking about something entirely different. "Well, here's the thing," said Milt. "I really didn't mean to embarrass you." "No problem," said Alan. "Nice of you to say. But what I was trying to get at is that Gus Nanton and I could really use help with these lads. I know from David that work used to keep you busy most evenings and weekends, but I was hoping you might have the time now to give us a hand." "Me teach hockey? I haven't skated in years. I'm not even sure I remember the rules," said Alan. "I know the rules. Coach Nanton skates beautifully. Besides, as coaches, we have only one job, and that's to get these kids working as a team, teaching them that everyone working together will accomplish more than each of them giving 100% individually. That's where we could use some help. If these kids learn the magic of teamwork, we'll have given them a greater gift than all the skating practice and rule drill ever could." The arena, which minutes before had reverberated with the clash of sticks and cheers, was now deserted except for Alan and Milt. "Okay," said Alan, taking a deep breath. "Second honest confession of the night. The change I got fired over? Teamwork. I got fired even though I was one of their best producers because I wasn't a team player. I'd hardly be the one to teach teamwork." Milt cocked his head to the side as if to better consider what Alan had said. Then, shifting the weight of the hockey sticks on his shoulder, he replied, "That company may not want you, but I do. I think you'll be perfect. You don't have to sing like Pavarotti to teach singing." Actually, Milt wasn't really concerned with perfection, or even being average. He just needed another parent to share the load. Sensing interest, Milt continued. "My wife and I sell bottled water from our store for a living. Gus Nanton is a graphic designer, on his own, works out of his basement office. We know nothing about teamwork. At least you know something about it. Around here," he added with a laugh, "you'll be our expert." Then Milt Gorman said the words Alan needed to hear more than anything. Slowly, deliberately, and sincerely, he said, "I want you, Alan." "I'd love to do it," Alan said softly to keep his voice from cracking with gratitude. He was wanted. "Practice at 7 p.m. Tuesday, then?" said Milt. "Sure thing," replied Alan. "That's great, and thanks. I'm looking forward to working with you," Milt called back as he disappeared down the ramp to the dressing room. Alan's explanation to his wife began simply, "You've heard that saying, people teach what they most need to learn themselves? Well, I'm going to be teaching teamwork to the Riverbend Warriors." Teaching, not learning, however, was Alan's aim. Teamwork was fine for a sport like hockey or basketball, but in Alan's world, the world he thought of as the real world, if you wanted to get something done, you did it yourself. When Alan's butt was on the proverbial line, Alan trusted no one but himself to cover it. The fact that being a lone wolf had cost him his job, while working with his team would have saved him, was an irony lost on Alan. At Milt's house later that evening, his wife, Anna, turned out her bedside light, snuggled up against her husband, and said, "So he gets fired because he is such an awful team player, and you take him on to teach teamwork?" "That's it," Milt admitted. "If I ever forget why I love you, just remind me of this, please." "You're wonderful," Anna replied.